The other thing I'll mention is that I have a new device and the camera that tends to follow me, so it has to kind of reset itself on me. And it takes sometimes a couple seconds. There we go. It's a funny thing to get used to. Okay, so as you take a comfortable seat, do a little shifting, a little moving of your sitting bones. And when we sit, the Sanskrit for this sitting pose is Sukhasana, and it translates to easeful pose. And so when we purposely try to make it as easeful as possible, it's this opportunity to tune into what's happening for us, to be aware and present with whatever is there. So now as you root down through your hands into your legs, however you happen to be sitting, there's no right or wrong answer there. Lengthen through your sides and draw shoulder blades onto your back. As you let your eyes close, take a couple moments to let your breath become deeper, more full. And with your breath, for just a moment, do a body scan. Scan from your feet to your crown. And really give yourself that time to notice what is present. Notice if there are any body sensations or any feelings. And with your hands coming to connect at heart center, let's set an intention to work through some of the stuff that might be stuck. Working through stiffness, tension, anything that happens to be there, whether it's physically in the body or maybe it's thoughts in the mind. Take a full deep inhale and sit a little taller. Exhale, bow towards your heart. And you can softly open your eyes, release your hands down. And then we're going to shift right away into a child's pose. So go ahead and come to hands and knees and then hips back to heels for your child's pose. You can always do a little propping here for this. You can set something in between your calves and your thighs, or you can keep your hips a little lifted, but letting your hips shift back, your head settles down. Take a couple big breaths here to shift and move a little bit. And shifting and moving is one of the ways that we can tune into some of the stiffness, the aches, the pains that might be there from maybe a week of other things than yoga. Then inhale, rise up to your hands and knees, setting yourself up, wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. And as you root down through palms and fingertips, find that rotation of your upper arm bone. So elbow pits are turning forward and push, expanding into the upper back. With toes tucking under, now you have a push with your feet to help you start to engage a little bit through the glutes. Now begin to move with your breath. Inhaling, tilting sitting bones up, expanding and opening through the heart space. Exhaling, rounding upward through the back. And as you take a couple more breaths here in your cat and cow, try to notice specific places where maybe you're feeling some of that tension, or maybe you're noticing some thoughts. If your mind is wandering a lot this morning. And then back to a neutral place, you can set the tops of your feet down. If you would like, you can grab blocks or whatever you're using for props, but settle hips back again. And this time we're going to set our arms up on our props, palms up, and then settle down through the shoulders, the head. Take a couple big breaths here as we start a little wake up and warm up through the upper back, through the shoulder blades, the rotator cuff. Full deep breath. And now inhale, rise all the way back up. Set yourself up again, wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. Rotate elbow pits forward and push. Then tuck toes under, lift your hips up and back, downward facing dog pose. And then take a moment to pedal, bending one knee at a time. And if you find that down dog is just tricky this morning, then maybe you stay on your hands and knees and do a little swaying of hips. or pedaling, reaching one foot at a time back behind you. And now taking as many steps to come forward as your body needs, forward fold at the front of your mat. Take an inhale and lengthen part way, long spine. Exhale and fold over your legs. Inhale, lengthen. This time, hands up above your knees, send your heart forward, sitting bones up and back. Your knees stay bent here so that shins can be stacked straight up and down. And then sway hips a little side to side. And then walk your hands up your legs to rise all the way up to stand, and then turn your palms forward. As you reach through fingertips, lift up through your heart space. Take an inhale and stretch up overhead. Take a hold of your right wrist and stretch to the left. Take a full, big, deep breath and just a little turn downward of your right shoulder. So you're looking down toward the ground. Pull the right ribs in. Take a big, deep breath. Inhale, turn up and open, rising all the way back up, switching wrists. And then exhale over to the right side. And then again, turning downward with the left shoulder, looking down toward the ground. Take a big breath and draw the left ribs in. Inhale all the way back upright. Release your hands and exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen part way, long spine. Exhale and fold. Fingertips plant. We're stepping right foot back into our lunge. Take a moment here to grow longer through your spine, centering with your hips. Think of your front ribs and your collarbones moving forward. And then walk your hands to the inside. You're going to set your back knee down on the ground. Extend forward with your heart. Again, blocks are always an option underneath your hands here. And then if you would like, you can lower even further, coming down onto your elbows. Take a big deep breath. Push down with your big toe mound on your front foot. And then notice your hip and think of wrapping it back. Full big deep inhale. Long full exhale. And now rising back up to your hands, we're going to set the right hand on the edge of our mat. It can be on a block here if you want. Left hand to your knee as you start to turn your belly and your heart to the left. Shoulder blades are on your back. If you want, you can stretch your top arm up. Deep, full breath. Push down with your bottom hand. Feel your ribs lifting. And then exhale, those hands come down to the front of your mat. Step all the way back into a downward facing dog pose or hands and knees, your choice. Take a big breath. Inhaling, come forward into your plank. Knees come down. If you would like, you can always keep knees lifted here, but we'll take about 3 breaths in our plank pose. So find that rotation of upper arm bones and push, and then extend your front further. Ribs and collarbones move forward. Then exhale, bend elbows lower down. Inhale, curl up and open as high as your body needs. Exhale, through hands and knees to down dog, or you can stay on hands and knees. Take a big breath. And then walking your way forward, coming into your forward fold at the front of your mat. Again, as many steps as you need to get there. Take an inhale, lengthen part way. Exhale and fold over your legs. Plant fingertips at your left foot this time, stepping back into your lunge. Pause and take a moment to center with your hips. Grow longer through your front. Deep breath. Then your back knee comes down. Walk your hands to the inside and then grow longer. Extend through your front. From that place, you can stay up high or you can come down lower onto your elbows. Elbows can always be on blocks here. Many options. Big toe mound pushes down on your front foot and then wrap your front hip back. Right hip wraps back, helps to Level the hips a little bit. This is an uneven pose, so they're not going to level completely. Deep breath. And now rising up to your hands, we're going to set our left hand on a block or the floor on the edge of your mat. Right hand to your knee to take that twist over to the right side. And again, as you push down with your bottom hand, think of lifting up and out of your shoulder, but even more so, push again and lift up and open through your ribs. Then if you want to, you're welcome to stretch. Right arm to the sky. Take a big, deep breath. Exhaling, both hands come down to the ground and settle back this time, hands and knees. And then hips to heels for your child's pose. It's your choice. You can take knees together or apart. As you take your child's pose and settle for a couple of breaths, give yourself a moment to notice how this child's pose feels. Maybe it feels a little different than the first one you took. Then inhale, rising up to hands and knees. Find that rotation of upper arm bones and push. Tuck toes, lift hips up and back, downward facing dog pose, full big breath. And now walking your way forward, coming into your forward fold at the front of your mat. Take an inhale and lengthen part way, long spine. Exhale and fold. Hands to hips, now press back with your hands on your hips, lift up and open through your shoulders and elbows and rise. So now as you find your balance onto your left foot, let's lift our right knee in toward our chest. And from that place, hold on with your right hand if you'd like to. You can always try testing your balance without holding on. As you flex your foot and wrap your right hip down, lift your knee up a little closer towards your chest. Lift your heart up. And now, hand at your knee if it's not there. Go ahead and open the knee up. And I didn't say it before, but you're always welcome to be holding on to something here. You don't have to be balancing completely on one foot if you don't want to today. Sometimes that's all it's a matter of is, well, I don't want to today. So take a big deep breath. And think of pushing down through your standing foot all the way from your hip, from your glute. As you push, lift your chest up higher and wrap the right glute so your knee turns more upward. One more big breath. And inhale back into center. Exhale, foot back to the ground. And then set right foot up. Left knee lifts up in towards your chest. And then again, you can pause without holding on to your knee here, or you can hold on to your knee. But lifting it up towards your chest, wrap your hip down. As you do that, think of the standing leg and squeeze the glute to push into the floor to stand taller. Then open the knee up. And as you open up, lift your chest. Find the glute action of the left leg. Take another full breath. Inhale back into center and exhale, foot back to the ground. Feet inner hip distance apart and parallel. Lift and spread your toes and then root them down. Take an inhale, reach arms up overhead. Exhale, bent knees, fold over your legs. Inhale to lengthen part way. Exhale, fold. Plant hands, step back, downward facing dog pose, and take a full breath. Lifting sitting bones high. Rotating upper arm bones, so your elbow pits are trying to turn more forward. And push from lats out through your hands. And now, sway hips big side to side. As you sway your hips, your feet can turn here. You're trying to get longer from hip to armpit. And then go ahead and settle knees down, hips come to heels. Take that child's pose. And as you take your child's pose, take a couple big breaths to settle. Head down, to settle through the arms. Might even bend your elbows here and bring first finger and thumb to touch. Take another full big deep breath. And then push yourself up to your seat. And we're gonna come all the way down to sitting bones. And as I said, we're gonna end with a meditation today. So we're gonna give ourselves a little bit more of a preparation to sit. So grab your prop, whatever it happens to be. I'm gonna use a block here. Set it out in front of you a little ways. So you have a little space between you and the prop. Your left leg becomes your base. And you can always be sitting up on something like a blanket if you want to. But set right heel on the edge of your prop, whatever your prop happens to be. So we have a little bend to our knee here, a little flex to your foot. Draw your toes back towards your knee. Press fingertips down beside your hips and then lift up tall through your sides and even lean a little side to side, move your sitting bones back. And then with that flex to your foot, push your heel down. See if you can get the glute to fire up on the right side. Release the push and then push again. See if you can find that firing. Sometimes it takes a little work to get there. Keep the push, the firing at the glute, and then you're going to open and close your leg. So pivoting from the heel and from the hip socket. Thinking of your foot and knee moving at the same time. Sometimes we end up, I can't even do it, but sometimes we end up moving our foot more or our knee more. So we want both to move at the same time. And then we're keeping them open as much as is right for your body. So you're not going to try to go further than is natural here. Lift up through your heart. You can stay right here if this is plenty of sensation, or walk your hands a little forward, lengthen again, long through your front, and then maybe walk your hands even further forward. Right arm can always walk underneath your right leg if you want, or you can reach over to the block in front of you. Whatever feels the best in your body where you can be long through your spine. Even think of letting your belly tilt a little forward. Full big deep breath. And then inhale, rise all the way back up, and we'll switch legs. So right leg becomes your base, left foot, your heel comes to your prop. And if you're using a block, it's a little bit easier to set your foot right on the edge so that you can flex and so that you have some movability there. So toes pull back and then push your heel down. See if you can get the glute to fire up on that side. Press down with fingertips, lift up with your heart, and again, move sitting bones. From that place, keep that push of your heel and start to open and close with your leg. And think of your foot, your ankle, your knee moving at the same time. You notice from here, if the side feels a little more mobile, a little less mobile, about the same. Are there any sensations or sticky spots? Okay, now keep it open as much as your body is ready for. And we're not symmetrical, so this side might not open or might open more than the other side. So walk your fingertips forward in front of you if that's in your practice, and then check and see if you can still make your spine a little longer. Lengthen through your front, tilt your belly a little forward, and then maybe walk a little further forward. You get to come to where that is for you today. Maybe your left arm goes underneath your leg, maybe it doesn't. It's okay. Take a big deep breath. And now inhale, gently bring yourself all the way back upright and footprints to the ground. And we'll do one more sitting pose before we lay all the way down onto our backs. So we'll take a brief Shavasana before we sit. So take a bolster or a rolled up blanket or whatever prop you happen to have underneath your legs. And then you're going to take your legs to rest over your prop. And if you're using something smaller like a blanket, think of setting it underneath your thighs, not your knees. The thighs will help to support the hamstrings here. So wherever it happens to be for you, pull your toes back. So yes, this is resembling a restorative pose, but it's a little bit more active. So move your sitting bones back, press your fingertips down, lift your heart up high. And then as you fold toward your legs, think of allowing your feet to stay active. If it's accessible and you can reach toes, maybe pull toes back here with your hands. If it's not, that's okay. You can still consciously pull toes back. Use fingertips somewhere, whether it's the floor, your legs, or your feet, to help you move your chest forward, your collarbones forward, your ribs forward. Take a big, full, deep breath. And now inhale, gently rise all the way back up and set your footprints on the ground. We're going to move the bolster aside, and then we'll come to lay all the way down. And as you lay all the way down, make sure you have props handy. Knees draw in for a moment. Just give a little squish against your gut. And now extend right leg up long and straight. Left foot comes back to the ground. You can keep your knee bent, foot to the floor, or extend your leg all the way out, whichever feels best. But activate both feet. So even the left leg. Think of rotating your inner thigh down and turn your toes up. With your right leg, reach through your heel, even if you have a considerable bend to your knee. Make sure to keep a bend. So now clasp behind the backside of your thigh and press hamstrings into your hands. Instead of trying to pull your hamstrings toward you, push them into your hands and reach your heel up. Then we're going to try to work our hips more towards center. So rotating your outer right hip more toward the foot of your mat, so your whole leg rotates in the hip socket, your toes turn a little bit to the right. From that place, take a full big breath and reach more through your heels, both of them. Now bend your knee, give your knee a squeeze in toward your chest. And then set right foot on the ground, lift your left knee up toward you. Extend your left leg. And then right leg can extend if you want it to. Doesn't have to though. Knee bent is always an option. But if you do extend it, rotate your inner thigh down so your toes are up. And then clasp behind the backside of your left thigh. From this place, as you pull your left toes back, move your left outer hip forward. So your whole leg rotates in your hip socket. Your toes turn a little bit to the left. Take a big deep breath and push hamstrings forward into your hands. One more big breath, pulling toes back on both legs. And then bend your knee and give your knee a squeeze. And now as you set both feet down, if you would like, you can add a prop underneath your legs here for a little resting position for your legs. But then take arms out to a T or to cactus, whichever feels the best. And take a couple big breaths, focusing your breath into your upper back. As you focus your breath into your upper back, close your eyes. And begin to let yourself rest. Begin to let yourself settle. And so if you need to switch positions to something else, you're welcome to. But otherwise, keep this open heart place for a few more breaths in this resting position. Now, as you bring your awareness back to your breath, I will give you a choice. If you'd like to stay in a lying down position for your Shavasana, or not for your Shavasana, but your meditation, you're welcome to. Otherwise, you can slowly bend your knees, roll over to one side, and push yourself up to a seat. As you find the position that is comfortable for you, you're always welcome to prop yourself up nice and high. I always like to add a little extra cushion for meditation. But find your comfortable seat, prop as much as you need, and then let your hands come to rest down onto your legs. Or if you're on the ground, then you can turn palms down if that's comfortable, if you're laying down still. With eyes closed, bring awareness to the movement of your breath. Observe it move in and out of your body. And now bring your awareness to your heart space. And you can even move one or both hands there if you'd like to, stacking one hand over the other. Or you're welcome to keep your hands right at the ground or at your legs. And begin to feel your heart space expand and contract with your breath. And now imagine your heart space is filled with a soft white light. As you inhale, this white light gets a little bit brighter. As you exhale, you send this white light out from your body to the spaces around you. Inhale to let that white light get a little brighter. Exhale to send it out just a little further beyond your house, maybe to your neighbors. And as you inhale, think of the word peace. As you exhale, think the word love. Inhale peace as that white light gets brighter. Exhale love as you send that white light out to your neighbors and further. Inhale peace. Exhale love. And now for a moment, imagine that white light filling you entirely and everywhere around you. Inhale peace. Exhale love. Connect hands together at heart center. Draw them to your third eye and back to your heart. And bow towards your heart. Have a very peaceful, beautiful rest of your day, and Happy New Year. Namaste. Thanks, everybody.